Hi Greg, thanks for the footage. Great to see somebody practicing in some warm weather with blue skies, which is very different to what we're experiencing here at the UK at the present moment. You're looking like you're doing a pretty good job for someone who's just started stack and tilt and has been teaching themselves predominantly most of the way at this stage. You're doing a really good job, a lot of good stuff in there. And what I've done is I've decided to point out 2 or 3 areas that I'd like to see you work on before you send me some footage for your subsequent sessions. First of all, what I'd like you to do is work on your ability to maintain your inclination to the ground on the way back. You can see as you go back, there's quite a drop. So the base of your neck there is up against the red line, and there's a drop as you go down. That's usually a sign that the player's left tilting a little bit too much. One of the problems is that with stack and tilt, when you look at someone like Charlie Wee from face on, you see this nice sort of over the top of the golf ball stacked position, and that angle we see there is deemed to be left tilt. It's tilting towards his target, but left tilt is actually this at the top of the backswing. Left tilt is down towards the golf ball at the top of the backswing. So what we're actually seeing here with Charlie is the standing up element of the backswing when viewed from face on. And if we look at yourself from face on, again there's a tendency to drop. You sag the left knee a little bit, which disguises the fact that you maintain forward flex. So I'd like to see a little bit more of an extension on the way back, which would allow you to offset the left tilt and allow you to maintain your height or your inclination to the ground on the way back. A very good exercise for learning the rate at which you should left tilt and turn is to just, without a golf club, take your address position where your head is resting up against the wall, and make some swings just with your arms relaxed and hanging out in front of you. Make some swings focusing on keeping your head fixed against the wall. In order to do that, you have to turn, left tilt and extend at the correct rate to keep your head on the wall. It's more of a feel, more of a conditioning exercise. You do see some stuff on YouTube where you'll see players being coached. There's certainly a few on my channel. One I did recently was for a player, I believe, called Martin Wilson. That surname may be wrong, but certainly done in the last 4 weeks, where you'll see me holding a club against Martin's head. And that's again is to give him the feeling of making some swings with his head up against the wall, allowing him to improve his inclination to the ground during the backswing. So a little bit more of an extension in there rather than just all left tilt, which is getting you drifting down towards the golf ball. The next thing I'd like to see you do as well is, and this is just in a takeaway perspective, just get the hands and the arms working in more. We can see here that the hands tend to work up and the club rolls behind us. And what we see with Charlie Wee here from down the line is we get the hands working in and the arms working in more. Now in order for Charlie to do that, he's got to turn the hips a little bit more freely, and he's got to let that right leg straighten a little bit more or a little bit earlier during his takeaway. If you watch yourself, the hips don't really turn freely enough, early enough, and that right leg just maintains its flex a little bit too much. Now, a super exercise for feeling what the hips and the right leg should be doing is to hit some shots with that right leg bolt straight. That presets the top of the backswing position, gets the right hip higher, gets it deeper, and gives room for your arms to work in. So right leg straightening earlier, hands working in much more from P1 setup to P2. Shaft parallel with the ground midway back. Now the other thing I'd like you to do, and the extension in the backswing is going to help this a little bit in regards to the movement of your left arm. You can see there the left arm movement is a little bit limited. Anybody who maintains forward flex will limit the freedom of the left arm. But added to that, if you watch Charlie's wrists are setting gradually all the way through his backswing, so that they're set at 90 degrees to the left arm at the top, and they actually continue to set into the downswing, so that here the angle of wrist cock, if you will, is more than it was at the same point during the backswing. So the wrists are incrementally setting all the way through the backswing. So that second accumulator loading up, still loading, still loading, still loading. With yourself, you can see that that second accumulator has got dumped, so the wrists have started to unhinge very early in the downswing. And if we compare that to where the wrist set was in the backswing, you can see you're doing a pretty good job there during the backswing, setting the wrist nicely from setup into the backswing, but then start to dump everything a little bit too early. You can see there you're almost dumping it before you start down. This is going to compromise the radius of your swing. Your radius now is too wide, which means that on the way through you have to divide the elbows to prevent the club digging in the ground. Also, when that second accumulator or the wrist is dumped too early, what we see is a player getting the club too much underplaying coming into impact. So as well as being weak, it's also offline. This is going to cause anybody with a club face, excuse me, on that line there, that's sort of toe down with a pass substantially from the inside, is going to hit a lot of hooks, overdraws, or pushes if you leave the club face open. You can see there the elbows dividing on the way through, even when viewed from down the line. As opposed to what we see here with Charlie, who's shortening the radius of the swing, very, very short, allowing him to maintain the angles in his wrist through impact, and then straightening the arms through the hitting area, allowing the club to reach maximum speed. When viewed from down the line, because Charlie loads the club more on the way down, what we're going to see is that the shaft doesn't get lost behind him. It actually loads more, stays on forearm coming through, and then sets nicely in the hands, allowing him to attack the ball on a more neutral path. So on reflection, let's get the right leg straightening a little bit earlier. Let's get the hands working in a little bit earlier as well, to give us some width in the early part of the golf swing. So right leg straightening, hands working in more, and then as we approach the top of the backswing, what we want to try and do is keep the wrist hinging, keep the wrist hinging, keep the wrist hinging, and keep the hinge in the wrist all the way up to this point in the downswing. From there we can start to let things release. It's a little bit of work on the wrist set. A lot of the work for you at this stage is in the backswing. Get the right leg straightening earlier, get the hips turning freely, get the hands in more, and get those wrists fully set as you approach the top of your backswing. Good luck with it. Hope you have a great new year. Look forward to receiving more videos from you in the future. Hope this has helped. Keep up the good work and keep enjoying the sunshine. All the best. Well done.